had gotten a complaint, our producer, saying that I was hugging a specific person, and somebody made a complaint that they thought it was inappropriate. So I said, what do you suggest I do? Do I just make an announcement? Hey, you can't hug me. Nobody can hug me anymore. They said, so we're going to have to let you go.
Wow.
Because if I got fired for hugging somebody, that could be interpreted 15 ways to Sunday. This type of stigma could really hurt the rest of my career.
Not every workplace is the same. And in some workplaces, PDA, hugs, affection, you can go too far. Our next caller found that out the hard way. Let's find out about the case of the curious hugger. Welcome to the Hardly Legal Show. What's going on with you, brother?
Well, let's see. I got fired from my job
recently.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, a little rough. Just to give a little bit of a background, I'm a Broadway stage manager. So I do a lot of live theater. I've been doing it for about 30 years. And in show business, and a lot of you, I know Bill's definitely touched show business in his career. I know a lot of you have. There's not a lot of handshaking, there's a lot of hugging, little one-arm hugs and things like that. Very, very personal. So as a stage manager and working with young artists, I get a lot of people that come up and hug me. At this point in my career, I'm kind of a father figure.
Okay.
And so with the recent show I was doing, I had probably about a dozen people that would come up, guys, girls. They would give me a quick hug when they'd see me.
Okay.
And so recently I'd gotten a complaint through my HR rep and our producer saying that I was hugging a specific person, and somebody made a complaint that they thought it was inappropriate. Now, I would hug, like I said, about a dozen people in the show who I felt comfortable with. I never initiated hugs. I just always received them. And we'll call this girl Lisa. And somebody made a complaint.
It was a girl?
It was a girl.
Okay, you're in theater. I just wanted to ask. Okay. So.
Well, she represented a girl, I guess.
Yeah.
She says she's a girl. I didn't really check.
Hey, no judgment here, man. So who did you grope?
So so this complaint came saying that, it's inappropriate that I'm hugging her, hugging Lisa, even though I hug a dozen people.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't make it better. By the way, as we start on the call, the defense shouldn't be I do this to a lot of people, but we're gonna help you. We're gonna you're like, yo, dude, I do this all the time. Easy. Okay.
This is true. Yeah.
All right. So Lisa, you hug her.
So this complaint and did not come from her, but it came from somebody, and she happened. Of the people that I would hug, she's the only one that had a boyfriend or a significant other in the show.
In the show?
He was in the show.
Oh.
Yeah. So I asked I asked who made the complaint. Obviously, they can't tell me because it was supposed to be, anonymous or whatever it was. And so I said, okay, that's fine. If they thought it was inappropriate, that's fine. What do I do moving forward? Because a lot of folks come up and hug me. They just know me that way. And they said, well, why don't you do that one-armed kind of hug, kind of off to the side.
Christian side
hug. Christian side hug. Yeah,
and that's actually kind of what I do with everybody, really. I mean, I'm just kind of, okay, here you go, a little pat on the back.
See, I would have turned you in for hugging me like a bitch, honestly.
Yeah.
You got to give me the real thing.
Yeah, I like the black
arms,
guy dap. I'm a black guy dap guy myself.
Yeah.
That's
but the sideways, it's like you're not really interested in
So
me.
I just want to make sure. I want to make sure I'm following this right. The person you hugged initiated the hug, but was not the complainant. Somebody else in the company complained about the hug that someone else initiated.
Probably
to you.
the boyfriend. Now here's my
question. I know. This is what I'm saying.
If someone comes in to hug, if a girl comes in to hug me, like you come in to hug me,
I'm not a fucking girl.
Pretend.
Oh yeah.
Okay. If I just Heisman, is that going to be an issue with HR? If I just stiff arm, like what are we?
No, you're protecting yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's defense.
Did you at any point try a stiff arm?
Well, I do, and that's kind of how I would hug most people. Well, and that's when I asked HR and the producer. I said, well, moving forward, what do you suggest I do? Do I just rebuke them? Do I just make an announcement? Hey, you can't hug me. Nobody can hug me anymore. What do I do? What's your advice? And so my producer said, hey, why don't you do kind of a one-armed kind of turn to the side? I said, oh, well, that's kind of what I do for most people anyway. And they said, great, do that, and that way it's not so weird or anything like that. And I said, great, that's not a problem. So I went ahead and did that, And then 2 weeks later, I get a call from the producer, and on my day off, and they said, we got another complaint that you're still hugging Lisa, and
It's specific to the same person.
specific to the same person. And they said, so we're going to have to let you go. And I said,
Wow.
over a hug. And they said, yeah, we can't have our anybody in management, hugging people. I said, well, hold on. I'm not the only person in management that hugs people. And this is very specific. Is there something more? Like who said this? Well, it doesn't matter. This is what's getting reported, and we're just going to have to let you go.
Fester, how
Uh,
old are you?
I'm 51.
And how old is Lisa?
Probably 25,
Okay.
26. And that's most of the cast in this show was in their mid to late 20s. The crew was a little older, but yeah, that's I was definitely the father of the group
I'm
because
gonna ask
of my age.
I'm gonna ask a question.
Sure.
Don't people like? Okay, so she's dating someone else in the show, right?
Right.
But they're both in the show. They're both employees of the production.
Correct.
Okay, so is it unusual? It doesn't sound like this crazy unusual thing for me that a producer or someone that's like works on set would date someone in the production. I mean, like we're comedians kind of, and there's a lot of comics and bartenders and a lot of comics and people that work at the comedy club, and they always tell you, they're like, hey, don't sleep with the staff, and then comics do it.
Yeah.
Not me, I'm married, but
Not me, I'm ugly.
yeah. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
My
he
wife's
is.
cool. I do it. Yeah. So is this something where they had a policy for everyone that there was no fraternization allowed? Like, is that? Am I wildly off base here that there's some dating that takes place in theaters?
Oh, there's absolutely dating, sleeping around. As a matter of fact, this guy, this is theater, pure entertainment. Is this guy was dating somebody else in the show, broke up with her to date this other girl in the show,
And he stayed in the show.
and they all stayed in the show. And the other girl that he broke up with started dating somebody else, and it's just very incestuous. But there's no policy on fraternization, sleeping with anybody. It could be frowned upon, especially if management started sleeping with somebody that's their subordinate. I mean, that's
Yeah.
in general, but I'm a married man. I've been married for almost 24 years. My wife wasn't with the show, but her and I have worked in shows, on and off for 20, almost 20 years. Um, but even that was okay because she was never my direct report. 'Cause she was on the crew. But yeah, there's no policy. I looked through the handbook just after I got fired and went, okay, is there something that says no, don't do this? And there's nothing that says that.
So I'm gonna jump in here and get right into the legal issue. So what state are you based in?
I'm based in California.
Okay.
The company was based in Maryland.
Okay. So, kind of regardless of where the company is, the fact that you're in California sets a different stage. California, known for having very strict employment laws. And oftentimes we get calls, both on the show and otherwise, about folks who might be in a different situation, right? Maybe they took it a little far and it's like, well, maybe you took it too far. This doesn't sound like that situation. What's really interesting is that employment law, particularly in California, is very, very concerned with the selective application of company policy. Some of the worst versions of that are, I let all the tall people do this, but not the short people. I let all the black people do this, but not the Hispanics. Whatever that might be. More like kind of the classic, racial discrimination. But the selective application of a policy here, and stick with me for a second, I think violates California law.
I'm with you.
Constitutional and a law, because I can almost guarantee you that if you were gay, you would not be in trouble for hugging women, especially Lisa, whoever Lisa is, right? And so that's one angle that has actually been litigated before in the context of the media industry is, wait, a straight man is being treated differently. And that's just kind of one layer of this. The more core issue here, though, is this is something that they're selectively applying against you, but not other management. Right?
Could this apply as age too? That's why I asked the age.
It could also apply.
Oh, damn!
The age is a great
son.
question, Matt. That's the other side of the coin here.
Who's the lawyer?
Being a man of a certain age, okay, having a role that is the other people in that same role are not having the policy applied the same way. And here's the thing, whether it's lower down or higher up, you have to have a good reason for why certain folks at different levels can't do it. If all the staff are hugging, but hugging's not allowed,
The staff is sleeping with each other.
well, but maybe they're not hugging. Maybe there's no tongue. I don't know, right? I mean, so there was a couple of different aspects right off the bat, and I will tell you, I know friends who represent employers in California on the legal side. I know people represent employees. This sounds like a case that all of them would raise an eyebrow at and say, "Ooh, that's not so good for the employer." Given these facts, and this is nothing to do with the law, but just total voyeurism. I really want to know if Lisa knows that her boyfriend is an insecure narc.
Rat snitch is what he is. That's a
I
little
fucking hate this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely an insecure kid too.
He's not the lead, is he?
No,
Yeah, I
God,
knew
no.
it.
That's
No,
why
no lead energy.
he was threatened.
No lead energy.
He was threatened by you, Fester.
So
She was the lead.
Is there?
Ooh.
Nice.
He upgraded though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he went from
He
one
did.
girl to this one.
Was he dating it like a stagehand, and then he was like, "Bump that! I'm going to the top."
He was dating chorus girl number 8 on the left. I mean,
we got
Oh,
we got Kevin Federline over here.
God, this guy
upgraded.
is leveling up.
Okay. We joke. We laugh a lot on this show.
Oh, no laughing aloud.
We laugh a lot on this show. Is there paperwork? Did you get termination paperwork that said this guy hugs?
no, the only thing I got a phone call, and the only other thing I got was a separation agreement and general release saying basically I'm being separated, and
But you have no communication in writing as to what the nature or the reason for your firing was.
That's correct.
Ooh, that makes it a little bit harder. But I will tell you, and we get this question a lot. Your own knowledge of what happened, of what was told to you, what happened during these conversations with HR, that's evidence. And so it certainly would be better if you had, video of this HR Nazi giving you the anti-hug speech. But the thing is that they're going to have a reason if you're pushing this or if you're reporting it to, the labor department in the state of California, or if you get an attorney to go deal with this issue. But let me kind of focus on the end, right? Because what really matters is what do you want to do here? What are you looking for? Is this hey, I'm out of work, I got to now go back to what I'm doing, or I've got a stigma or other things? What's the resolution that you're hoping for?
Well, definitely, it sucks. I have to go try and find work again. But after, working in this business for 30 years, I do worry about my reputation, because if I got fired for hugging somebody, that could be interpreted 15 ways to Sunday.
Right.
And if somebody gets worried, like if another employer says, "Oh, I heard about you. You got fired from this other job for hugging a performer," no, we don't want to deal with that. So I'm worried about that type of reputation getting out. And I mean, I don't mind if someone says, "Oh, he was a jerk, he was a dick, he told dirty jokes," whatever. That's whatever. But this type of stigma could really hurt the rest of my career. So that's the big thing I would love to see if I can sue them over. And obviously, financial gain, of course, but I'm not looking to retire off of this lawsuit.
You could sue anyone for anything. You could sue a ham sandwich for, not being kosher. The question is it worth the squeeze, right? Like, is there,
right.
And
I guess also, like, I would say, would a lawyer look at this and say, "Hey, I can take on this case, because then I can also get them to give me in writing why I got fired, and then go from there."
So let me with employment separation issues, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Sometimes folks will get a heads up they're going to be let go, and they negotiate to resign in lieu of termination, right? And that allows everyone to truthfully say, "Nope, I left the job, I resigned, I moved on." Sometimes I've even had to negotiate the employer providing a letter of recommendation or a statement. There's a lot of different ways, because it really matters what you need afterwards. And, at the end of the day, this seems like some legitimate claims. You're going to need to validate it. We're going to send you some names of folks. Don't say your jurisdiction here, but we'll get you some specific ones there that are fit for your city and what you're working on. But ultimately, what you could do is go back to them and say, "Look, if I had left on terms of everyone else, you would have given me this much severance, and I would have been able to leave on these terms. I want to be able to say that I resigned, and I want a statement it doesn't have to be a letter of recommendation, but it can just simply be, this is an acknowledgement that he resigned as of this day and it was a mutual parting or something like that, right? So those are different ways to have them characterize it, because there are strong laws about what you're allowed to say or not say. That doesn't necessarily always help with the practical reality that motherfuckers talk, right? But at least you'll have something to go, hey, no, actually, let me show you this letter that I have that says that I resigned and, you know, it was on these terms and they paid me this money and blah, 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 because of how they mistreated you. Because I think the other thing is any lawyer, I've represented employers, and when you hear things like, we fired this guy for a rule that everyone breaks all the time, that is a major red flag. So I would say, yes, a lawyer would look at this and be able to go through the full breadth of potential options, focusing on allowing you the best platform to move on in your career, which is important. Again, yeah, you're not going to retire over this particular case, right? I mean, there was a case in Dallas a few years back that a friend of mine litigated where it was just way out of control, sexual harassment, fluids involved, blah, blah, blah. And that wasn't even retirement money, right? Just because of the nature of, you can go and work. You've got a great career. You've got a lot of opportunity. There are other places to go work as long as you can clear this part up. But there's definitely a wrong that's occurred here from what we're hearing.
I think you should evaluate it, right? Like no one's hearing, oh wow, congrats, you're going to be the rich hugger that just gets to retire off this. I agree with Bill on that. But I also think that there's enough here that you should explore it. That like you're taking the first step, talking to us, but we're going to pair you up with some people that specialize in employment discrimination and wrongful termination. There's a couple different things going on here that are in your favor. So I would encourage you, I think, to continue to pursue this, and we're going to try to help you do that if you want to do that. If you're watching at home and you want help, don't forget to go to hardlylegal.com. You can sign up to be a caller. Also, get in the comment section. Tell us what you would do if you got hugged into losing your job. It's pretty tough.
Fester, so we're going to send you some specific. We'll follow up with some questions through our team to get you some specific recommendations on folks that will help in California know the specific laws in that jurisdiction, can dive more into the facts. But do you feel like you were heard today, got a little bit more guidance about your situation?
Absolutely. I appreciate this very much. It's good to bounce it off of you guys, especially you guys are experts in this thing. And also hearing this for the first time, I got a good sense of where I'm at. It's not just in my own head.
I'll tell you this, dude. We talked to a lot of people. Most of them are the good guys. You're one of the good guys based on what you're saying, and you shouldn't feel beat up about it. You were wronged here.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, Fester. We'll follow up with you. Thanks for calling.
Matt, how do you feel about that one?
Suspiciously quiet on this one. Have you been accused?
You said we need an innocent guy, and then here he comes in.
No. Well, listen, I'll go to what I think about him. Is I just think it's one of those things where one of the reasons why I asked for age is because every time you start a job, you have to go through the PowerPoints and see reasons why, there's harassment, things like that. Age is one of them. But also, like, I wonder what the ages of everyone else that was on that staff were hugging them, because maybe they just get, and I don't want to sound like an asshole, but maybe they have the ick from this guy. Just, I don't want him hugging me. How do I tell him to
feel like
stop?
they were, okay.
And I think that's all it was.
They were hugging him.
Really?
Yes.
Here's what he said. He said
he got the warning.
Maybe he's wrong, but
like,
he's either completely delusional, which is always a possibility,
that's
right?
I mean, I think personally, and I'm not with you guys, I think it's a little bit of delusion. Only from my expense, because who would say this guy hugged me inappropriately back unless he's squeezing or
No, but the person who got hugged wasn't the complainer.
Exactly. So if that's the case, and it's just a whole HR violation.
No, it's
could have been an ugly chick reporting him because she was jealous she wasn't getting a hug. There's a
Maybe it was
million
his
things.
wife.
Could have been the boyfriend.
No, but that's the thing.
Could have been the wife.
We don't know who the complainant was, other than it wasn't the person who got hugged.
Yeah.
So,
That's like if me and you do this,
and then I'm jealous.
Bill is jealous,
and I report
of the cool
to Paul Mom
handshake
that you are doing this cool handshake that you won't let me do because I'm not black.
It could be, but I also think it could be the boyfriend, one of two ways. Like we said, he was a dick, right? Well, if he's the one who did it, he's a dick for one of two ways. Because maybe she's uncomfortable because she doesn't want to say something like, hey, this guy keeps hugging me. I don't know what to do.
That's a good point.
Well, go up and say something. I don't want to say anything. I'm going to look like an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm the lead in this whole thing, Remember, she was the lead, so she
Yeah.
has more to lose.
And maybe she
Then Choir
initiated.
Boy 6.
Maybe she initiated the hug, but then he wouldn't let go. Maybe he
Yeah.
just. Maybe he held it
Little
for like
squeeze.
6 seconds, 7 seconds. We don't know.
But from what we've heard,
He sounded
good
pretty,
guy.
He sounded like a good
Good
guy.
guy,
to me.
and I think he has a case.
In
But
the-
I'm just saying what I would think.
All right,
No,
you know
no,
what?
no,
We're going to
that's a
go to
good
the
question.
court of public opinion. I say court of public opinion. I say good guy.
I say good guy.
Good guy that smells weird.
I think you were going old creep. You're going to change?
Yeah,
You're gonna,
I think he's an old creep.
Old
Okay.
creep.
All right, yeah. Matt says old creep.
Doesn't mean you're a bad guy if you're a creep.
What do you think?
We don't think you're a creep.
At
Yeah.
home, in the comments section, tell us, where do you stand when it comes to the case of the hugger? If you have a crazy legal story and you want to talk to some lawyers anonymously, for free, call us.
Wait, we're not getting paid?